Hey folks, Jimmy here, aka Palette of the Dead. Welcome back to the channel and welcome to the latest issue of Warhammer Age of Sigmar Stormbringer magazine. Now, as per usual with all these videos, if you like them, hit that like button, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and of course, drop me a comment down below. I love hearing back from you guys. It goes a massive way to helping out the channel too. Now, this week we're on issue 43 of Stormbringer magazine, and we get 5 new Sylvaneth in the shape of the tree revenants. This kit, if I remember rightly, can also be made into the spite revenants. You just basically do the same figures without the hair pieces and with a few little tweaks. Instead of having weapons, they generally are just using claws and such like that. So, but they are really cool. I genuinely like these kits. I think they're really good. The only thing I find with good old Sylvaneth is they are a little bit spindly. So there are some very fragile bits, so be careful with it, but otherwise 5 real great minis to add to your arsenal. Especially if you're a Sylvaneth player, you're going to love this, and you should be getting 2 copies just so you can have each and bolster out your armies. So really good stuff. But otherwise, I suppose we should really crack on with the issue. So first off, we are greeted by the Sylvaneth and the great cycles. So for Sylvaneth, think of time as a series of cyclical epochs, like the seasons. The ages progress from one to another, each taking its allotted time and serving its purpose before inevitably giving way to the next. First off, in the Age of Myth, the Age of Myth was a season of peace and prosperity for the Sylvaneth, in which the goddess Alariel, the Everqueen, was awoken by Sigmar. She joined his divine alliance and travelled the lands, founding the Sylvaneth Glades. But this period of abundance did not last. Across Alariel's kingdoms, differences turned to divisions, and then to open warfare as the Glades battled each other for supremacy. So, there has always been a bit of infighting between the Sylvaneth. Then came the Age of Chaos. The Age of Chaos was a season of despair in which the Sylvaneth were driven to the brink of extinction. The gods of chaos exploited the weaknesses in Sigmar's alliance to enter the realms and plunge the lands into darkness. After suffering catastrophic losses, Alariel retreated to the hidden grove of Athelweird. The few remaining Sylvaneth who did not fall to the hordes of chaos were forced into hiding, leaderless and dejected. Then there came the Age of Sigmar. So, the Age of Sigmar began as a season of titanic struggle and war as Sigmar's heavenly armies fought to retake the realms across the forces of chaos found Ethelweird. At first, the fate of the Sylvaneth seemed to be sealed. Alariel, despairing, shriveled into the form of a soul pod. However, the Everqueen's forces fought with all their fury against the invaders. And then we're into the real Age of Beasts. Now, the Sylvaneth are living in a season of vengeance. They are a force ascendant, but there are still many battles to be fought. They defend their lands with furious violence, remembering all too well the near catastrophic losses they have suffered in ages past. So, the Sylvaneth are now kind of on a bit of a resurgence, and they are vying for vengeance against those who did them wrong, especially the forces of chaos, and they are looking to kind of build themselves up and get the groves back and much more, and kind of retake lands. Now, the Sylvaneth are quite a combative against anything that is against nature. So for instance, they do generally dislike the cities of Sigmar because they use a lot of wood and for utilising in tools and weaponry and such like, and they do not live in harmony with woodlands, so they do have a little bit of combative nature against them, especially places like Greywater Fastness and places like that where they are basically, it's very industrialised and very against what the Sylvaneth are and such like. So really cool. I do like the Sylvaneth, and the Sylvaneth lore is actually quite good fun. So really good stuff to learn a little bit more about how they see the world and how everything works. Then we move on, we get the Perils of Chaos. So, attend faithful disciple. To the words of Brother Moochard. The forces of darkness close in about us. Heed the teachings of Sigmar's devoted servant and renounce corruption. So, the perils of chaos, obviously there are quite a lot of perils towards the chaos gods, and the chaos gods will try to entice people as much as possible. The chaos gods are, of course, the eternal enemy, having destroyed the world that was, and it is up to you as a force of order to be ever vigilant against them. There are, of course, the witch hunters, and they do enjoy persecuting chaos and finding rooting out chaos as much as possible. And of course you do have some characters from the witch hunters that you can utilise with your good old Cities of Sigmar, so whether it's Yeltsin Daruk, whether it's good old the Vendensts or anything like that, you have a lot of options with them, and they utilise a lot of suspectfulness against chaos in storylines anyway. Then moving on, we get a page for the Sylvaneth Tree Revenants themselves. So the Tree Revenants are sombre and deadly Sylvaneth infantry. Beneath banners of silk, they advance on their foes, utilising secret spirit paths to catch the enemy unaware. Once in combat, they slash ferociously at their opponents, wielding their enchanted blades with unmatched prowess. So, you do have some very nifty looking ghostly weapons that the good old Sylvaneth can use. How you want to paint them is entirely your choice. I do quite like that ethereal look, that kind of bluey hue, which you can get utilising Corax White and Nilikai Oxide, for instance, and then dry brushing back over the Corax White back over the top, and that makes a very nice blue hue hidden underneath a white kind of coat. Yeah, which is really, really good. You do get different households as well. So households are standing armies of the Sylvaneth enclaves. They continually patrol and secure the borders of their lands and guard the sacred soulpod groves. The core troops of a household are tree revenants, who are usually led by a branch witch or a tree lord. So the lords of the clan can summon to war any households, and they will band together with other households to form a flexible fighting force. However, even a single household is a formidable opponent, and smaller missions may require only one. So, a little bit of info about the good old how Sylvaneth war culture kind of expands, so pretty damn cool. You do get to, of course, name your Tree Revenant unit. It's up to you how you want to go about doing it, but really, really cool stuff. Then we get our build guide. So our build guide does have a few extra options for different arms, different hands, and such like. You will be left with a few bits that you're not going to be using, but otherwise it's a fairly pretty straightforward build. There are a couple of little fiddly bits, and obviously you do need to be very, very neat with certain sections to get it just right. So take your time with it, have a bit of fun with it, but otherwise pretty damn cool stuff there. And then we get our paint guide. So a paint guide, obviously fairly straightforward. It is entirely up to you how you are going about doing it. Obviously paint it kind of similar to what you have done your Spirit Durfu or any of the other units that we've had for the Sylvaneth so far. It is entirely up to you though. At the end of the day, it is your choice. Have a bit of fun with them, but you can get some really, really cool looks out of these guys, so it is down to you and your painting style and what you feel like doing. Otherwise, you can follow their guide. The guide is generally alright. It's not a bad guide. It does work. It does exactly what it needs to do. It's probably a little bit darker than I would have thought it would be, but you have to make do with what you do. So obviously this paint guide is all designed around the paints that we get with the issues up to where you are now. So it does look slightly darker than it probably needs to be, in all honesty. So, but still pretty damn cool. Then we've got our war scroll page for the Tree Revenant. So these guys do have 2 wounds, 5-inch move, 5+ save, and 6 bravery. They are of the order, they are Sylvaneth, and they are noble spirits and Tree Revenants, of course, it's their keywords. and you can have a musician and standard bearer and champion in each of the 5 units. So pretty damn cool. Entirely up to you how you want to go about using them. You do get a little bit of information of how to utilize the musician and the standard bearer, and also martial memories as well. And then we move on. So we get our battle plan for the week. So we have our Dwardim mechanisms is the scout realm. So we will get a bit more with that later on. For your good old Alliance of Ordevo, you can take in obviously your army list, being the Knight Arcanum and Arch Revenant, and you can choose if you're going to have 5 Vindictors and 5 Vigilors, or if you'd prefer to have 6 Gryph-hounds and 5 Tree Revenants. Going up against the Alliance of Destruction in the shape of a Swamp Caller Shaman and Potgrot and Killer Boss with Stabgrot, going up against with their optional choices of either 10 Gut Rippers and 3 Manskewer Bolt Boys, or you can have Mollog and the Marshcrawler Slogoff. Your choice, but yeah, not too bad, pretty cool. Decent little battle from the looks of it. Should be a fairly interesting one, to say the least. So definitely worth a bit of a blast. But otherwise, you know, I'm sure you'll enjoy it. You'll have a bit of fun, and it's a chance to use the Sylvaneth as well. So, which is always good fun stuff, really, isn't it? Other than that, though, that is pretty much it. So obviously, next week, issue 44, we get 2 paints. We get Skeleton Horde and we get Ballad Brown. Both relatively okay paints. Skeleton Horde, I recommend. It's definitely a really, really good contrast paint. Ballad Brown, I don't really use it that much myself, but there will be times where you can utilise it and you can get it into it. It does work on ropes quite nicely with Wraithbone, so could be worth it on that. But otherwise, issue 45 though, we do get Loon Smasher Fanatics for the Gloomspite Gits. These guys are pretty fun, they're pretty different. You get 6 minis, 5 of them are actual warriors swinging big massive balls on chains, and one of them is actually a dead grot. So really, really cool stuff. It's something different, it's quite fun, and genuinely, Gloomspite Gits are always quite funny and quirky, so these guys are quite fun and quirky as well. Other than that though, that is it for this week. Obviously, Christmas is coming up, so the schedule for videos goes a little bit all over the place. Hopefully we'll have a better flow in the new year, but otherwise, thank you very, very much for watching. If you are going to be buying any last minute gifts through Wayland Games or Element Games for hobby supplies or just gifts for people, I have affiliate links in the good old description down below. Please, by all means, if you want to, hit the links. It gives me a little tiny bit of a kickback if you use Element Games or Wayland Games using them affiliate links, no matter what you buy. So you do get some pretty good stuff out of either of them. So obviously Element Games sell Artist Opus paintbrushes, they sell all the Citadel paints, a lot of Warhammer stuff, Star Wars Legion, Marvel Crisis Protocol, whatever you're after. The same with Wayland Games as well. They've got a bit of something for every hobby in the hobby space that we're in, miniatures, so it's definitely worth a shot. So yeah, just entirely up to you. It does support the channel, so, but entirely your choice. Otherwise though, that's it. So I'm going to go now. Thank you very, very much for watching. I will see you sometime soon. Bye bye now.